As much as we would hate to see a war between the United States and Japan, it would be much easier for us, I think, if such an emergency should come, to face the enemy, Japan. As much as we would hate to see a war between the United States and Japan, it would be much easier for us, I think, if such an emergency should come, to face the enemy, Japan, and to stand the suspicions and criticism constantly leveled against us. Why should we, who are American citizens, owe allegiance to Japan? We have never been there. We don't speak the language. We know only one country, one flag.
The parents who taught Shigeo Yoshida about loyalty were from samurai families in Japan who lived by loyalty. Shigeo's father had laid down his swords as part of Japan's drive for modernization. He had migrated to Hawaii in hopes of regaining status in the overseas plantation community, but instead had come to depend on his 8 children for status. At an early age, Shigeo became widely known for his mastery of writing and debate, and for his willingness to speak freely in public.
We were forced to attend Japanese language schools by parents. I must confess, I didn't learn much. For me, those 6 years were more like 3. That's how often I played hooky.
Security was a rapidly growing industry.
When was the last time you were in Japan? You know, it's really just as we suspect. There's nothing here except wind.
Navy intelligence, Army intelligence, and the FBI all had networks. A lot of people were getting better acquainted in a hurry, engaging in wrenching conversations about the president and the emperor, the American public school and the Japanese language school, the new country, the old. The Honolulu Police Department joined the FBI investigation, and that was when Jack Burns, then an intense young police lieutenant, came in with his team of investigators. Jack Burns' boys could speak Japanese and Pidgin and anything in between.
Mr. Burns must have felt quite reassured because suddenly he published an article in the Honolulu Star Bulletin that staked his reputation on something no one could be totally sure of.
Units which have been investigating have not found facts which would prove disloyalty, but rather the reverse. Let's be Americans, equal justice, and not allow our people to be condemned without proper reason. Shivers called me in this morning and broke down crying. He said, "I'm not telling my men this, but I'm telling you. We're going to be attacked before the week is out. I want you to redouble your efforts. Check everywhere you can for anything suspicious, any suggestions of espionage or sabotage."
The seeming calmness in the islands may be only a veneer, a thin veil of oil on a turbulent sea. The first incident of an actual war in the Pacific may turn loose all the forces of hatred and suspicion of race prejudice. What the future holds, no one can foretell.